How many dreams have you buried under the weight of, I'll do it tomorrow? You didn't mean to let them die. You told yourself you'd get to it soon, that you just needed a break, a little more time, a little more clarity. But time kept moving, didn't it? Days turned into weeks, weeks became months, and now here you are, watching another day slip through your fingers, wondering where the fire went. You're not alone. Most people don't fail because they weren't talented enough. They don't fail because life was too hard. They fail because they waited. They sat still. They let laziness whisper sweet lies into their ears. You deserve to rest. Just one more scroll, just one more nap. You'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow never came. Laziness doesn't crash into your life like a storm. It seeps in like fog, quiet, soft, and deadly. It tells you you're okay when you're not. It tells you you're resting when you're actually rotting. It doesn't scream. It seduces. And by the time you realize it's taken over, you've lost months, maybe years. You've watched others move forward. You've seen people build things, grow stronger, achieve what you once dreamed of. And instead of acting, you sat there telling yourself the same comforting story. They're different. They're lucky. I'm just tired. But deep down, you know that's not the truth. Deep down, you feel that discomfort, that ache, that gnawing sense that you're not who you're supposed to be, not because you're incapable, but because you've been stuck, paralyzed. You're not lazy because you're weak. You're not lazy because you're broken. You're lazy because you've allowed comfort to become your cage, and now your soul is starving. It wants to break free. It wants to sweat, to strive, to become something more, but it needs you to wake up, because laziness is not passive. It's aggressive. It destroys more potential than failure ever could. It convinces you that staying still is safe, but it's not. It's the slowest form of self-destruction. Every minute wasted is a brick in the wall between you and your destiny. But there's a reason you're here right now, a reason you're still listening. It's because something inside of you is still alive. Something deep, raw, and powerful, a voice that hasn't given up yet. That voice wants more. It's ready to rise. And if you stay with me, if you choose to listen to that voice instead of the excuses, you will feel that shift. You will break free from the fog. You will remember what it feels like to move, to fight, to build. Not someday, not next week. Now, this is the moment you draw the line. This is the moment you stop feeding the lie. You're not here to waste your life watching others live theirs. You're here to destroy laziness and take your power back. Stay with me. We're just getting started. You were not born to live a life of hesitation. You were not made to tiptoe around your own potential. That fire you feel burning in your chest when you think about what your life could be, that's not a fantasy. That's your future calling. But you can't reach it by staying idle. Laziness will steal that vision from you if you let it. It will chain you to comfort and convince you that comfort is happiness. But comfort without progress becomes poison. And right now, the truth is this: the longer you wait to move, the harder it gets to rise. Every time you ignore that small voice telling you to get up, you shrink a little. Your confidence erodes, your energy drains, and worst of all, your belief in yourself weakens. Laziness isn't just about doing nothing. It's about slowly becoming nothing. You feel tired, but it's not your body. It's your spirit, because your soul knows you're capable of more. It knows what you're avoiding. Every goal you've written down, every dream you've postponed, every promise you've made to yourself and broken, it all builds weight. Invisible, but heavy. And it's suffocating you from the inside. But you don't have to carry that weight any longer. You can make a choice. One decision to get up. One decision to stop negotiating with laziness. One decision to finally say, I'm done being less than who I was meant to be. The hardest part is starting. Not because the task is impossible, but because your mind has been trained to believe the lie. It tells you you're too late, too tired, too far gone. But it's wrong. You're not too late. You're right on time. And no matter how long you've been still, the moment you take action, even a small one, you begin to reclaim yourself. Action builds momentum. Momentum builds identity. And identity creates discipline. You don't need motivation to act. You need action to feel motivated. Waiting for the perfect moment is a trap. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. And if you wait for the feeling, you'll wait forever. You don't break laziness by thinking. You break it by moving, by standing up when your body wants to lie down, by pushing forward when your mind screams to stay safe. You prove to yourself that you're not controlled by your feelings. You are led by your vision. And once you start, even the smallest progress will begin to ignite your spirit. The fog will lift. The weight will loosen. You will remember who you are. That power you've been searching for, it's not out there. It's been buried under the comfort, the excuses, the fear, but it's still there. It's yours right now. Don't pause. Don't wait for another sign. This is your moment. Get up, move, and keep moving. because the life you want is waiting just beyond your laziness. You're not here to survive. You're here to conquer. The moment you begin to move, even if it's just one small step, the chains of laziness begin to crack. Your brain is wired for progress, not perfection. It craves forward motion. And the second you take control, truly take control, you send a signal to every part of your being that you're done being passive. You're done watching your life pass by from the sidelines. The habits that once held you down begin to lose power the minute you act against them, not because the task gets easier, but because you grow stronger. You become the kind of person who shows up no matter what. And that identity, someone who shows up, is the very foundation of greatness. You've spent enough time being gentle with your excuses. You've coddled your fears. You've given laziness a voice it didn't deserve. And now your results reflect that. Not because you aren't capable, but because you've let emotions rule action. That stops now. You don't need to feel like doing it. You need to do it until you feel proud. You need to act until discipline becomes instinct. Every time you get up when it's easier to stay down, you build strength. And strength compounds. It doesn't come from one heroic moment. It's carved in the quiet, relentless choice to keep going. Your mind will resist. It will scream for comfort. It will tell you that change is too hard, that progress is too slow, that maybe you just aren't built for this, but you must understand. Your mind is a tool. You control it, or it controls you. Laziness feeds off indecision. It grows stronger when you hesitate, but clarity kills it. Decide who you want to be, decide what your life will stand for, and act like it, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Because every moment you choose discipline over delay, you're rewiring your identity. You're becoming the version of yourself you admire. The one who doesn't flinch, doesn't wait, doesn't fold when it's uncomfortable. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. One page written, one rep completed, one task finished. That's how you defeat the part of you that wants to settle. That's how you reclaim your future. You don't need to make massive leaps. You just need to be relentless. You just need to show up again and again and again, because that's what laziness fears most: consistency. Not the loud, flashy moments, but the quiet, determined rhythm of someone who refuses to quit, or someone who knows they were made for more and lives like it. Right now, your life is shaped by the decisions you make in silence. No one sees the struggle. No one hears the argument inside your head. But if you win that battle, if you stand up, push forward, and take action, you win everything. Freedom, energy, power. You don't get that from waiting. You earn it by moving through resistance and never backing down. Your new life begins the moment you stop listening to the voice that says, wait. Make this moment yours. Keep pushing, keep rising, keep going. You already know what it feels like to delay, to scroll, to lie to yourself with phrases like, I'll start tomorrow, or just 5 more minutes. But how often has tomorrow come without change? Or how many times have those 5 minutes turned into 5 hours, 5 days, 5 years of waiting for something to shift on its own? Laziness whispers comfort but delivers regret. It convinces you to trade your future for the illusion of rest. And every time you give in, you fall further from the life you were built for. Because deep down, you want more. You ache for progress. You crave the strength to break through the fog and become someone unstoppable. That craving is not weakness. It's your soul waking up. It's your deepest self begging for direction. And direction doesn't come from overthinking. It comes from choosing. You choose to rise. You choose to act, even when it's messy, even when you're tired, even when your mind pulls you toward distraction. That's the real test, doing what matters when no one's watching, when every excuse is valid, when everything inside says quit. You overpower laziness by making the decision that your dreams are more valuable than your momentary comfort. Your brain will protest. It always does when routines are broken. But that resistance is not a stop sign. It's a signal that you're entering the territory where transformation happens. Push through it. Let it burn. Let the discomfort shape you, sharpen you, remind you that you are alive and you are capable. You don't need to be fearless, or you need to be willing. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. Every second you choose presence over passivity, you're becoming the kind of person who doesn't just survive life, but dominates it with purpose. When you train your mind to act regardless of mood, you unlock freedom. Real freedom isn't doing whatever you feel like. Real freedom is rising above feelings that try to keep you small. Discipline is freedom. Focus is freedom. The ability to wake up and move forward without waiting to feel ready, that's power. And that power multiplies. Each decision to rise creates momentum. And momentum destroys the grip of laziness faster than motivation ever could. You don't wait to feel like it. You do it, and the feeling follows. That's the formula. That's the truth. You already carry the fire. It's been buried beneath hesitation, buried beneath habits that no longer serve you. But it's not gone. It just needs oxygen. Action is that oxygen. Every breath you take in motion brings that flame back to life. So don't stop, don't settle, don't let the lie of comfort keep you average. Average isn't your destiny. Laziness isn't your identity. You are meant to move. You are built to grow. And this moment is proof that the power is still within you. It always has been. Keep going. Keep proving it. Keep showing up for your own future. You've carried the weight of delay long enough. Every minute spent waiting for the right time, the perfect mood, or the magical burst of motivation has only pulled you further from the person you were born to be. You were not designed to stay stuck. You were not made to stay small. Laziness is not who you are. It's a shadow, a symptom of disconnection between your current habits and your true potential. And right now, it's time to sever that tie. Not with a dramatic act, but with quiet, unshakable decision. The kind of decision that doesn't beg for applause, but demands respect from the deepest part of your soul. You are the only one who can rewrite this script. No one is coming to push you. No one will force you to rise. It has to be you. You must look into the mirror, not for approval, but for accountability, because that reflection carries two versions of yourself, the one who waits and the one who wins, and only your actions decide which one you become. You can let time keep slipping, or you can command it. You can keep losing to the same loop, or you can break it forever. The decision is always yours. The outcome is always yours. This isn't about hustle for the sake of motion. This is about claiming your life with purpose. Laziness thrives in lives without clarity, so get clear, not just about what you want, but about what you will no longer tolerate. Refuse to keep watering seeds of stagnation. And refuse to keep breathing life into distractions. Your focus is sacred. Your time is sacred. Protect it. Guard it like your future depends on it, because it does. Every hour wasted in passivity is a chapter unwritten in the story of your greatness. And that story cannot wait any longer. You don't need more time. You need more truth. The truth that you are capable. The truth that discomfort is temporary. The truth that laziness is not a life sentence. It's a choice that can be broken with a better one. The world is filled with those who started in doubt and rose in power. The difference wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It was action. It was the unshakable will to take one more step, make one more decision, build one more brick in the foundation of a life worth living. You've been waiting for a sign, but this is it. This voice. This moment. This fire you feel in your chest, that's your awakening. That's the call to break the cycle and step into your real strength, not tomorrow, now. Because when you stop negotiating with laziness, when you silence every excuse with action, you finally become who you were meant to be. Every breath from this point forward can either repeat your past or rebuild your future. Make it count. Choose momentum. Choose mastery. Choose to destroy laziness by becoming unstoppable. Keep moving. Keep rising. Keep fighting for the life that's waiting on the other side of your effort. You already know what it feels like to hesitate. You know the weight of wasted time, the dull ache of regret sitting in the back of your mind. That heaviness isn't just emotional, it's physical. Your body absorbs the burden of dreams delayed and effort postponed, and you carry that weight into every part of your life. But you don't have to anymore, because what once held you back has no right to lead you forward. That version of yourself, the passive, distracted, indifferent one, is done. You're not meant to be buried under the comfort of excuses. You were built for movement, built for fire, built for growth. You must stop asking how to feel motivated and start demanding more from yourself even when you feel nothing. Discipline doesn't wait for emotion. It acts without needing a reason. It shows up because it said it would. You need to become that kind of person. The one who follows through regardless of mood, regardless of fear, regardless of how far the finish line seems. Because the truth is, the more you train yourself to act in discomfort, the more powerful you become. That's how you earn self-respect. That's how you win trust with yourself. And that trust becomes the foundation of everything else. Confidence, resilience, direction. Most people think laziness is about being tired or unmotivated, but it runs deeper than that. Laziness is often a cover for fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. So you freeze, you scroll, you delay. And in that delay, the fear grows stronger while your belief gets weaker. But the moment you act, one decision, one small step, you interrupt that fear. You shatter its momentum. And even if it still whispers, it no longer controls you. That's the power of doing the thing anyway. You break the loop. You take back the wheel. There is power in starting without knowing the full path. There is strength in showing up without guarantee. The action itself teaches you who you are. It shows you what's possible when you stop doubting and start doing. So don't look for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect energy. Start where you are with what you have. Let your movement create clarity. Let your effort shape the vision. because movement builds muscle, not just in your body, but in your identity. You don't need to leap. You just need to step right now. Not because it's easy, not because it's convenient, but because this moment matters. It's the test that separates who stays stuck from who stands up. There's no force stronger than someone who decides once and for all that they will no longer betray their own potential. You are that person. You're not waiting anymore. You're rising, not someday, but today. Every second is a doorway. Every breath is a chance to begin. Step through it. Own it. Keep proving that laziness ends where your will begins. Keep choosing who you are becoming over who you've been. The reason you feel stuck isn't because you lack time, talent, or tools. It's because you've been waiting for the perfect version of yourself to finally show up. But that version only exists on the other side of effort. You keep thinking once you feel ready, you'll act. But readiness is not a feeling. It's a decision. You become ready by moving. You become capable by struggling. You become powerful by showing up on the days you don't feel like it and doing the work anyway. That's the real difference between those who rise and those who remain behind. It's not luck. It's not some secret formula. It's the decision to stop feeding the voice that says not now and start feeding the voice that whispers go. You've wasted enough time waiting for permission, for the right mindset, for motivation to magically arrive. But you already have what you need: breath in your lungs, a choice in your hand, and time that's still ticking. Every minute that passes is either fuel or fire. You either use it to become stronger or you let it burn another hole in your potential. You've seen what happens when you do nothing. You've lived the cost of comfort, but you haven't fully seen what happens when you commit with no backup plan, when you demand more of yourself not just once, but every day until that demand becomes your default. When you move, your brain changes, your focus sharpens, your beliefs shift. Confidence isn't something you wait to feel. It's something you generate through action. Every time you show up, even in small ways, your identity begins to realign. And soon, the person you used to be, the one ruled by distraction, excuses, and doubt, starts to fade. And in their place rises someone new, someone intentional, disciplined, hungry, someone who doesn't need external motivation because the fire is already lit from within. Laziness thrives on uncertainty. It feeds on indecision. But clarity kills it. When you define what you want, when you name the goal, when you break it down into small, clear steps, laziness has no space to hide. It shrinks. And every step you take becomes another nail in the coffin of your old habits. You don't have to take giant leaps. You just have to stay consistent. Momentum is always built through repetition, not bursts of random energy. Every time you resist the urge to delay, you get stronger. Every time you say yes to movement and no to excuses, you become more of who you were meant to be. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being relentless. Not every day will be ideal. Not every effort will feel amazing. But that's not the point. The point is you don't stop. You don't wait. You don't lie to yourself anymore. You act. You move. You show the world, and more importantly, you show yourself that you're done living below your potential. You're not who you were. You're who you decide to become, starting now. You are not lazy by nature. You are conditioned by patterns that have trained your mind to believe that ease is safer than effort. But safety without growth is a slow form of suffocation. The longer you cling to what's easy, the more you bury the life you were meant to build. Comfort promises peace, but it robs you of power. It whispers sweet lies and distracts you from the truth that every ounce of greatness is buried under sweat, struggle, and self-mastery. Laziness isn't just a habit, it's a belief system. And the most dangerous part is you may not even realize you've adopted it. It creeps in as rational thinking, as smart avoidance, as harmless delay. But in reality, it's stealing your strength one excuse at a time. Your brain follows your focus. If you focus on how hard something is, your energy drains before you even begin. But if you shift your attention to the outcome, the purpose, the vision, then pain becomes fuel. The task might not get easier, but your endurance will grow. And that's what destroys laziness. Not motivation, not hype, but endurance. The decision to keep moving even when the spark fades, even when the resistance grows. That's when real change happens. Not in the first steps, but in the ones you take after everything in you wants to stop. Discipline is not born out of willpower, it's forged in repetition. In doing what you said you'd do, especially when you don't feel like doing it every time you follow through, you teach your nervous system that you are in control. Not your emotions, not your doubts, not the pull of distractions. You are the commander of your actions. And when your identity catches up to that truth, laziness can no longer survive. Because now you no longer see discipline as something you're forcing, but as something you are. You must decide what you want more, the pain of regret or the pain of effort. Or one lasts forever, the other fades and leaves strength in its place. You already know the weight of wasted days, of chances never taken, of goals untouched. It doesn't feel light, it feels like a heaviness that follows you. But you don't have to carry it anymore. You can break the pattern, not someday, but now. 1 hour of focus, one task done, one choice made with purpose. That's how new patterns begin. You were not created to coast. You were built to conquer. But you must choose that identity every single day. The world will not hand you results. It will only offer the raw material, time, energy, and challenge. You decide what to build with it. And the more you move, the more you realize that action doesn't just change your results, it changes how you see yourself. And once that vision becomes clear, you'll never let laziness rob you again, because now you've tasted what it means to fight for yourself, and nothing else compares. There is a version of you that exists on the other side of your excuses, a version that doesn't flinch when things get hard, doesn't hide behind procrastination, and doesn't wait for the right mood to take action. That version is not distant. It's not a fantasy. It's already inside of you, buried beneath the noise of doubt, underneath the habits that have kept you comfortable but unsatisfied. Every time you silence that inner voice that says, not today, you move closer. Every time you act when it's inconvenient, you align with that powerful self. And the truth is, you already know what needs to be done. You don't need another plan. You need to decide that your future matters more than your temporary comfort. The gap between who you are and who you want to be is filled with actions you're avoiding, the hard conversations, the early mornings, the focused hours when no one is watching. That gap doesn't close with time. It only closes with effort, with consistency, or with the kind of daily fight that most people never choose, because most people want change without pain, growth without discomfort, results without sacrifice. But the ones who rise, the ones who become unstoppable, understand that discomfort is the entrance fee to transformation. When you push through what feels difficult, you're not just building a stronger body, a sharper mind, or a better life. You're training your identity to match your goals. You're declaring with your actions, this is who I am now. And that declaration matters more than any words you speak, because you can tell the world you're serious, but your habits will always reveal the truth. Every moment of discipline reinforces that you are no longer negotiating with weakness. You are no longer making decisions based on feelings. You are making them based on purpose. There's a fire that only gets lit when you realize you've wasted enough time. A hunger that grows when you decide you're done living beneath your potential. That fire doesn't come from outside. It rises the moment you stop accepting average. The moment you stop rationalizing why you can't and start finding reasons why you must. It's in that moment that the shift begins. When your mind stops searching for the path of least resistance and starts locking in on the path of most growth. If you want a different life, you must earn it through different choices. Not once, not for a week, but again and again until your new standard becomes permanent, until your internal thermostat rises and never drops again. You're not here to repeat cycles. You're here to break them. You're not here to merely exist. You're here to evolve. And every action you take with intention becomes a vote for the person you're becoming. No one else can cast that vote for you. No one else can walk this path. But once you commit fully and without apology, everything begins to shift. And that shift is irreversible. Every moment you hesitate, you give power to the very thing that holds you back. Laziness isn't just a harmless pause. It's a silent thief stealing your potential, your dreams, and your future. It thrives in those empty moments when your mind drifts to distractions, when you convince yourself that rest can wait another day or that effort is optional. But deep inside, you know that every choice to delay, to avoid, to numb is a choice to shrink your life. It chips away at your confidence and fuels a growing dissatisfaction that won't quiet down. The discomfort you feel now is the echo of unrealized possibilities, the weight of untapped talent, the sting of wasted time. It's not just about getting things done. It's about reclaiming your own power and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. Laziness feeds on your self-doubt. It whispers lies that you are too tired, too unworthy, or too broken to change. But those are just stories your mind tells to protect itself from discomfort. Growth never happens in comfort zones. It happens when you lean into the resistance, when you stare down the excuses and push through anyway. You must become the person who decides to act even when fear lingers, even when energy is low, even when the road ahead is unclear, because strength isn't the absence of weakness. It's the willingness to keep moving despite it. The courage to take one more step when every part of you wants to give up. This battle isn't about motivation alone. Motivation is fleeting. It rises and falls like the tides, unpredictable and unreliable. What you need is commitment, unshakable commitment to your vision of who you want to be. Commitment that turns actions into habits and habits into identity. When you commit at this level, laziness loses its grip. It becomes a background noise you no longer listen to. Your focus sharpens, your energy channels. Your mind rewires itself to crave progress rather than comfort. Every deliberate action you take rewrites your internal story from I can't to I will. That shift is profound because it rewires your brain to seek success rather than avoid failure. Imagine the freedom that comes when you no longer surrender to laziness, when you reclaim control over your time, your choices, your life. This freedom isn't about perfection or endless hustle. It's about mastery over your own will. It's about showing up for yourself daily, proving that your dreams are worth the fight. You hold the key to unlocking this power. It's in the decisions you make each morning, in the small battles you win over hesitation, in the relentless refusal to accept anything less than your full potential. This power is yours now. Will you take it? Will you rise and destroy the habits that have kept you stuck? Because the only thing standing between you and the life you crave is the moment you choose to break free from laziness and step into unstoppable action. You might think laziness is about having too little energy, but it's often more about what your mind is telling you. It's about fear disguised as fatigue, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of change. When you feel the pull to avoid action, ask yourself, what are you really afraid of? The truth is, beneath the hesitation lies a powerful truth, the desire to protect yourself from pain, disappointment, or discomfort. But that protection comes at a price. It's the cost of missed chances, diminished dreams, and a life half-lived. Recognizing this fear is the first step in breaking the cycle, because when you name the fear, it loses its power to control you. You can then choose to act despite it. The courage to move forward, even when fear lingers, is what destroys laziness at its root. Laziness thrives in isolation, where thoughts spiral and excuses multiply. But you are not alone in this battle. Every human experiences moments of inertia, days when the weight of effort feels unbearable. What separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck is the willingness to confront this internal struggle head on. It requires honesty, humility, and the relentless refusal to settle for temporary comfort. The pain of staying stuck is far greater than the discomfort of pushing forward. Each step taken in defiance of laziness is a victory, a reclaiming of your inner strength and your ability to shape your destiny. The mind is incredibly powerful, but it can only defeat what it acknowledges. Awareness sparks transformation. It lights a fire that no amount of inertia can extinguish. Understanding the science behind laziness reveals that it's not a fixed trait, but a habit that can be rewired. The brain responds to repeated actions. When you consistently choose effort over ease, you reprogram neural pathways, strengthening your willpower and resilience. This is not about brutal discipline, but about creating new patterns of thought and behavior. Small, consistent actions create momentum. The key is to start where you are, with what you can do right now. Momentum builds confidence, and confidence fuels further action. This creates a positive cycle that propels you forward, away from the grip of laziness and toward a life defined by purpose and achievement. Every day you are writing the story of your life through your choices. Laziness is a chapter you can rewrite one decision at a time. Imagine the person you want to be, focused, driven, unstoppable. That person exists within you, waiting to be awakened. The path to that transformation is through consistent action, even when motivation is low. It's about honoring your goals with your daily habits and refusing to let fear or fatigue dictate your reality. This is your moment to break free from the chains of laziness, to step into the power of purposeful action, to claim the life you were meant to live. The journey is not easy, but the reward is worth every effort, a life filled with meaning, growth, and endless possibility. The choice is yours. Will you rise?